From a bunch of movies put on hold cause of the writer's strike, to Deadpool 3 being fast-tracked to keep the fans happy, here's everything on Marvel's major movie release date shuffle revealed. A lot of their projects have gone off track. This isn't a good time for the current multiverse saga cause after release dates have been set for the Phase 5 and Phase 6 projects, this year was supposed to focus more on the idea of the multiverse and variants. But the studios made a big fuss among superhero fans by pushing back the release dates of many hyped-up films, including the next Avengers movie. Some of the most recent films in the MCU didn't do as well as they'd hoped. 2023's Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania was a big disappointment, and it didn't help when things about some cast members came to light that shocked everyone. I'm looking at you, Jonathan Majors and Tenech Huerta. Fans were still excited to see their favorite studio give them their dose of superhero goodness, but then the 6 upcoming Marvel movies had to be pushed back. One of those was the highly awaited Avengers: The Kang Dynasty, which has now been pushed forward to May 1st, 2026, a year ahead of the initial release date. The production problems have been put down to the Writers Guild of America strike. That's been going on for a while. The other films that have been pushed back include Captain America, Brave New World, and Thunderbolts, which will be released in 2024. Blade and Fantastic Four will come out the year after, in 2025. And Avengers: Secret War's been set for release in 2026. Now let's come to the main reason behind the delays: the people who've been messing things up. The loss of another key team member caused the delay in the release of the Kang Dynasty. Writer Jeff Loveness left Marvel Studios, while Jonathan Majors' Kang was still in limbo. And before he was chosen to write this movie, he worked on the latest Ant-Man film, which featured a version of Kang. But the Marvel exec, Jeff Snyder, confirmed that their writer walked out before the writer's strike, so Marvel hadn't been treating their team badly. No one ever said why Loveness left, but it could have had something to do with how badly Quantumania did. Ant-Man 3 was a financial failure for Marvel Studios, and it only made $476 million around the world, which was less than the expected $600 million it would have needed to break even. Critics were very harsh, no really liked the script, and everyone hated the overuse of CGI. If the rumors about Loveness leaving are true, Kang Dynasty may have to go through what Blade did. If Marvel Studios can't find a new writer soon, they'd still have to wait till the strike's over before starting production. But Snyder said that Loveness's exit isn't set in stone yet, so fans will just have to wait and see what happens. This setback will prove really horrible for the MCU, since Kang Dynasty has to set up Phase 6. The MCU finally made sense to a lot of casual viewers when the main bad guy got the spotlight. Thanos, the Mad Titan, finally showed up in Avengers: Infinity War after years of hints and glimpses, and this gave the 10 films that came before it a new meaning. They're doing the same thing with Kang. They built him up as the big bad for ages, and now it's time to finally reveal him. Major's Kang was supposed to play a big part in Phases 4 through 6, but his character's still in the making, and with the allegations against the actor, production's been held off. We first saw the villain at the end of Loki, where we met his variant called He Who Remains, who was very chatty and told us that a worse version of him was coming. Ant-Man 3 also showed us a version of the villain, and he was much more powerful than anything we'd ever seen before. Unfortunately, it looks like he won't be a big MCU bad guy until 2026. So until then, let me give you some insight into the character. Kang the Conqueror is one of the most powerful villains in the entire Marvel Universe. In the comics, he's a narcissistic villain from the year 3101 who fights the Avengers and the Fantastic Four a lot. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby first showed him in Avengers 8 back in 1964. When he first met the Avengers, he did the normal things that supervillains do, like holding the team for ransom or sending them to different times. Kang's travels through time have become more complicated, to the point where there's now more than one live version of him. Kang's real name is Nathaniel Richards, which makes him a relative of the time-traveling Nathaniel Richards, the father of Fantastic Four member Reed Richards. Cool, right? In Avengers issues number 41 to 55, that were released in 2001-2002, one of Kang's many plots against the Marvel heroes was revealed. Kang made an offer to Earth in the 16-part Kang Dynasty story, and after seeing how Earth was destroyed in other timelines, the Conqueror decided that the only way to save the world was to make sure he was humanity's only ruler. It's no surprise that people on Earth didn't take him up on his offer, but attacks from Atlantis, the Eternals' enemies, the Deviants, and the Master of the World, a super-evolved caveman who mostly fights Canadians, wore down Earth's defenses until they were useless. That led to Kang taking over Earth and making everyone his slave, with the help of an army of modified Sentinels that were made to hunt mutants from the X-Men series. This was how things happen in the comics, but in the MCU, the Kang dynasty is closely connected to Secret Wars. Phases 4 and 5 showed that the entire universe is a big mess, and the world's still not used to the fact that half of the universe came back 5 years after the blip, or that Iron Man, Black Widow, and Captain America all passed away. When new heroes like Sam Wilson's Captain America show up, people were skeptical, and other heroes like the Eternals kept fighting among themselves. Wakanda helped spread its culture and technology around the world. But in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, the loss of King T'Challa and an attack from Atlantis left them weak. If Dr. Doom's behind it, everyone's in big trouble. In Phase 5, things don't seem to be going any better. In Secret Invasion, the story will be about the shape-shifting Skrulls, who've already started attacking Earth and making the heroes doubt each other. Kang's version of Immortus may show up in the Marvels as their bad guy. Then we have Thunderbolts. There'll be a Black Ops group created by Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine as a response to all these invading threats. She's been busy gathering some questionable heroes and anti-heroes like the US Agent and Yelena Belova to make a darker version of the Avengers. So Earth's best defenders might not be enough. People will have less faith in their heroes than ever before, which makes it the perfect time for Kang to attack and take over the world. Just like in the Kang Dynasty comic book, Kang will probably give the damaged Earth a choice: submit to his rule and live in peace, or fight against him and face extinction. At some point, the Avengers will work together and start a counterattack. But what if the bad guy isn't what he seems? What if Kang's harsh actions are the only way to keep the planet from being destroyed? In the MCU, there have been hints of a threat that could destroy the world. 2022's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has a scene where Clea warned Strange about upcoming incursions. Many fans who've read the comic thought that sounded like a warning, because incursions happened when Earths from different realities crashed into each other. In the comics, invasions wiped out the universe, which led to something called Secret Wars. And this was the last step in Marvel's Phase 6. As far as we know, Kang's the only thing protecting Earth from invasions, and the world may end when the Avengers come back to get rid of him. But again, we'll have to wait till 2026 to know for sure. This leads us to one piece of good news. At least we're getting Deadpool 3. When Disney announced its big purchase of Fox, MCU fans were happy because it meant the X-Men, Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four would finally be able to show up in the MCU. And that's exactly what's happening. Ryan Reynolds revealed that Deadpool 3 will be coming out in late September 2024, along with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. But Disney's moved the date of Deadpool 3's release a little later, so be ready for some hilarious fun on May 3rd, 2024. There you have it, from Deadpool 3 being fast-tracked to keep the fans happy, to a bunch of movies put on hold cause of the writer's strike. That was Marvel's major movie release date shuffle revealed.